Iron Fist, issue number 1. That's right. When this book was teased, the internet went ablaze because everyone and their mothers were just like, we're finally replacing Danny Rand, baby. We're getting a proper Asian Iron Fist. Yes, we are. That's cool. I just want to specify something. This is going to be a little bit of a tangent before we get into the actual book. I need to make this clear. There is no indication throughout this book or any other that Danny Rand is being erased or written off or they're replacing him to be more woke. That is not the story we are getting across. I am somebody who is an advocate for Danny Rand being the Iron Fist. I think it's an important character moment. I think Danny Rand is an important character for the Marvel Universe. I also think Danny Rand is the type of character who would step back from the Iron Fist chi and let it go to somebody else for the sake of the greater good. Which is exactly what happened in Iron Fist Heart of the Dragon. Xiao Lao needed to be reborn. He stepped back and he said, I'm not going to accept it. It's going to find a new host. I can live with that. That is Danny Rand. That is important. Also important to note about this book, it does not come off like we are replacing Danny Rand. He's an important character in this book. He's an important player. And the guy we got being the new Iron Fist, he has his own motivations going on that make sense to the story. I absolutely adore the fact that the motivations for this guy being Iron Fist isn't some bullshit like he's trying to overtake Danny's shadow. There's motivations. We're going to get into it. I like it a lot. So we opened up several months ago in Kunlun, and we're just having our Festival of Rebirth. Everybody is just super excited. You know, Sparrow, who is the Guardian of Kunlun, I believe she replaced the Thunderer. When I was started to read comics, Thunderer was like the character who kind of like ran the bases on Kunlun, so I think she took over the role. Basically, they're just watching the egg of Xiao Lao, and they're like, okay, when this egg hatches, we're going to find a new Iron Fist, everything's going to be great. But the egg cracks. They're like, where's the power going? Where's the power of Xiao Lao the Undying going? Then we cut to New York City in the present day. We open up on Danny Rand, and he's fighting some weird snake, lizard person, whatever. He's getting some narration, which if a character in a comic book gets their own narration in the head, and we're just reading that, they're a main character. It's an important thing to have. I'm going to note this too, and I don't want anybody to say shit about it. It's important to note. Danny Rand in this comic book is drawn to look a lot like Finn Jones. The Netflix rights are being reverted back to Marvel. Finn Jones is a talented actor. He was given the shit end of the deal when it came to his role as Danny Rand. I'm not going to say anything else about it. But in this book, not in like Heart of the Dragon or anything else, in this book in particular, his hair is drawn more wavy, where it's less kind of like surfer vibe and more just like Finn Jones. I'm not going to say anything else about that. That's just the case of what we're seeing in this book. That being said, I like the portrayal of Danny Rand here. This is something I think was very important for this book to get right. How are you going to set up Danny Rand? It's a good job. So he's on the phone with Luke while he's getting attacked by these creatures, and he's just trying to like assure Luke, like, I'm going to be there. Don't worry. I'll make it to our dinner reservation. Luke and Pei are already there at like the dinner table of what they're doing. Danny's fighting these creatures, trying to find his way. He's kind of getting like beat up a little bit. And he's not really winning. Then from the back of the building in walks the new Iron Fist, just stabs one of these creatures through the chest. And Danny's like, oh, okay. Who are you supposed to be? I like this suit. One of the things I like about Danny's suit is such a representation of the 70s. You know, like the big collar, just the stupid little shoes. This is how you would update an Iron Fist costume, and it looks sick. I love the mask. I love the design. Everything about it looks cool. This kid has no time for Danny. He's just beating up the characters, and you see like one of the creatures is just like, we have to get the shards. Like, what are the shards? What does it have to do with anything? Danny keeps trying to talk to the kid like, look, it's a good cosplay, but it's not really screen accurate to what my suit is, so I don't know what you're doing here. But the kid's like, whatever, I don't care. He just starts beating up the creatures. They do like a team up. This kid's got no time for him, bursts out of the room, and then he just goes to sit on a building while he's just chillaxing and figuring out what the hell is he a part of now. So the character that we all figured out right away that was going to be taking over as Iron Fist is Lin Lai, and he was the sword master when Marvel did that initiative where all these new characters like White Fox and Luna or something. I have read very scaringly amount of Swordmaster. But what we're setting up, so this could be something in another story that I never read where his sword breaks. I don't know. But the basic plot for why Lin has become the Iron Fist is he was in the midst of a battle against an ancient demon, and it broke his sword. It broke like the family sword that gave him the divine weapon. It threw his chi off balance, and he like fell into some water somewhere, landed near Kunlun, and he just like was about to collapse in the water. These sharks were trying to attack him, and then suddenly this was about the time that Xiao Lao the Undying's egg hatched, so it found him. And I really like, this is something I really like. It's a great use of the Iron Fist lore and of the character of Lin. It chose him because his chi was imbalanced. We'll get to that more when like Lin's talking to like his family and his friends there. And it's just like, they think that Xiao Lao chose Lin because he lost his sword, it threw his emotions and his chi off whack, and the Iron Fist could restore balance to this very important person. That's a cool motivation. That's a really fun idea because it doesn't set up that he was trying to take the power from Danny or like he fought his way to get through this. He doesn't want to be an Iron Fist. He's like, I want to be the sword master. I want my sword back. So he's actively collecting the shards of these swords, which I think is really cool. And you see like when he is sitting on the rooftop, like there's shards that are stuck into his hand and they're like bodied into his hand. He's like, okay, what's going on here? Danny shows up. He's like, I get it. You're obviously an Iron Fist. You're not well trained. You got some fight skills that show that it's like Kunlun style, but you're not as well versed as some like the other notable Iron Fists. So how did you get this? And Danny pulls out one of the shards that this kid was looking for. He's like, okay, you need this, right? Let me help you figure out what this is. The kid overreacts. He's like, you stole this from me. I don't have time for this. I got to solve this myself. Kind of gets into a fight with Danny, but the entire time he's just like, dude, you literally trained in Kunlun. I know all these moves. There is nothing you can actively do that I haven't done before. You're not surprising anybody. So, like, what do you think you're going to do here? But the kid pulls one over on Danny, and he steals the shard, and then he just runs into the subway station. Danny's trying to chase him. He opens a gate to Kunlun. The kid goes through, and Lin is gone and out of sight from Danny. Cool. Strong idea. Great use of the character. I really like that. So when Lin goes through the portal, he meets up with Mei Min, who I guess is just his friend. She is somebody who wants to become like Sparrow and become a Thunderer. She's studying the martial arts in her own way. Cool. Not his own Colleen Wing or his own Misty Knight, just a fun character because we're going to get more of Lin. Lin is going to be a character I'm expecting they're going to have a big push for. I'm fine with that. I think it's cool. They're going to go to Min's place there, and they're just going to, have fun, figure out the problem. So they're at her parents' place. We see the shards that Lin has for the sword. He's got a few pieces. He's like, if I can put it together, all will be restored within me, and I could pretty much be able to find myself, to be whole again. I'm hoping that'll work. I'm hoping this is going to make everything better because I really don't want to be an Iron Fist. This legacy sounds like it sucks. And I'm like, dude, it probably does. A lot of white dudes have had it for some reason. I completely understand why you'd want to step off from that. I also like this too. It does set up a reason that Pei is still alive because I think did Pei give up her Iron Fist at the end of Heart of the Dragon? Did she give up her chi? I can't remember, but I'm like, yeah, Pei is still an individual character. We didn't tarnish that legacy in any way. So cool. I think this works fine. It's a really cool concept, and I understand why you'd pitch this book because it's really fun. So then they just have dinner. You see they're just sitting at the table, and this is where we get Mei's pretty much just theory that Xiao Lao found him because his chi was imbalanced, and maybe once the sword gets restored, then the chi will just rebirth and go back to Xiao Lao, and then we can find the new champion. Very fun. And at the dinner table, we see that that the father of this family stands up and he's going to go check out the sword, and when he touches it, it starts to mutate him, and he starts to become some other creature, kind of like the ones they were fighting earlier in the issue. And that's just a really cool ending to this book. It's setting up great tension. There's some weird magic being bestowed from the sword that Lin has. It's all really strong and really powerful. I really liked this issue. Great use of the character Swordmaster, just giving him a title he doesn't have. It's kind of this thing I like to see where he's an established hero already. Why would he need to become a legacy character? It doesn't tarnish Danny Rand, which I think was very important. And not just because I'm a fan of that character. I love Danny. He's one of the characters I really enjoy and relate to the most in these comics. But it would just feel so unnecessary if they just, tarnished him for no reason, which I think is really cool. So Alyssa Wong is the writer of this. I'm not too familiar with her work, but I am impressed. This was a really solid read. The artwork was great. Michael Yig did the artwork. It looks good. It looks clean. It feels very much like that Shang-Chi book that's ongoing right now. I really like that. I just can't get over how much Danny Rand looks like Finn Jones. It's just really cool. I think it's fun. I'm probably going to do a big video talking about the Iron Fist problem at some point, but until then, I'm going to be covering this book because you know what? As an Iron Fist fan, I like the way they handle the legacy. I like all of this. I think it works really well. I think it's a really strong book, and it did everything I needed it to make me want to read more of this series. So, good on you, Alyssa. You did some good shit here. I like it a lot. I really do. So, Iron Fist, issue number 1. I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.